Good morning to everyone. First, it's great pleasure from our side to welcome you to our online workshop called Smart Villages, Slovenian Experience and Vision. My name Konstantin Michael, and I was chosen as moderator for the current workshop. About me briefly, during the last 8 years, I has working for National Network Estonia and being responsible for innovation-related issues. But the leader topic as such is not absolutely strange for me at all, as because previously I worked at Ministry of Rural Affairs directly with leader measure. And now I'm living in a rural area, and smart villages as a topic is under the radar of my interest. So behind the screen today are situated the whole or entire team of my colleagues, who are in fact the main organizers of today's event. First of all, my colleagues from National Network Estonia, Meel, Erik, and Ave, whom I replaced today probably, and colleagues from Slovenia respectively. So you can all show your hands and say hello to our participants. And by the way, today's event is not the very first one. I will say it's already fourth in the road. 3 country experience have been collected and introduced previously. Finland, Latvia, and Poland. And there is no doubt we will continue with that series of events as the interest from participants has been grown with the time and across geographical regions of European Union. Another issue, what are these events about and what we are trying to achieve? First of all, the main idea is to introduce the smart village approach to the broader public. Secondly, to introduce practical and smart solutions, which the communities in rural areas are using to deal with the challenges in their local context. And then to show the best working practices and experiences from the different member states. And the last one, to intensify a networking and communication among you as a participant. So now shortly about the program of today. Duration of that virtual workshop is 1.5 hours. We will have 4 inspiring presentations from our Slovenian colleagues, starting with I will share first my screen. Yeah, is it worked, Mary? Okay.
Yes.
So we will have 4 inspiring presentations, starting with smart villages vision and leader approach in Slovenia, and continuing with the 2 practical examples, one from local leader action group, another one from EAP operational group. Event will be streamed in YouTube, so you can easily share YouTube's link with your colleagues, friends, or even family members, why not? Duration of each presentation is around 15 minutes, plus minus 3 minutes, I will say. Questions could be asked after each presentation, approximately, I will say 4 to 5 questions. So during the Q&A session, you can raise your hand here in Zoom or use for that purpose Zoom chat. And of course, please do not leave your questions unasked. In addition, you can leave in chat your thoughts, preparation offers, web links related to some really good project examples or initiatives. And I think I covered practically all the aspects at the early beginning of that workshop. More or less, that's all from my side. So I give the floor to our third speaker, Andrea Komel from Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food of Slovenia. And at the same time, I wish you all a successful workshop as well. So, Andrea, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you very much for the floor. Hello to everyone from Slovenia. I would just like to ask my colleague Slavica to share the presentation. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, yeah, we can go further to start. Slavica, the next slide. Okay, thank you. The Slovenian countryside faces many structural challenges which vary widely between regions. The population is rapidly aging. Its renewal depends on migration. The natural increase is negative also. The share of daily migration outside the place of residence is very high due to the lack of quality jobs in the countryside, while young and working age residents who are more educated are moving away. The quality of life in rural areas also depends on public and private infrastructure, with digital connectivity becoming indispensable, so necessary. So the revitalizing of rural services through digital and social innovation, through the use of information and communication technology tools, is not only possible but necessary. It is necessary to improve and make more sustainable services in the countryside, such as healthcare, social services, education, energy, transport, retail, trade, and the like. Smart villages are therefore understood as rural communities that use innovative solutions to improve their resilience, building on local strengths and opportunities. With the concept of smart villages, we want to address projects and investments in the new CAP strategic plan 2023-2027 in the direction of improving economic, social, and environmental challenges by using innovative solutions and digital technologies in rural areas. Implementation of the concept of smart villages in Slovenia is not new. We can say that the mechanism has been implemented in similar forms for 30 years, initially through programs for the overall development of rural areas and villages, later through bottom-up approaches. We want to encourage employment, greater social inclusion of residents, and local development of rural areas. It is very important that the development of rural areas does not have a negative impact on social inclusion, on the care of vulnerable groups of people, or on the environment. The concept of smart villages presents mainly possibilities for rural development. So in this slide is just a definition as we understand it, and I was trying to explain it. We can go to the next slide. The Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food promotes support for smart villages, smart solutions, and digitalization in rural areas at different levels. Through the network of rural areas, we inform the public about the concept of smart villages and collect examples of projects from the Rural Development Program 2014-2020 on the topic of rural areas of the future, smart villages and other smart solutions in agriculture and rural areas. We have actively joined the thematic group Smart Villages, which operates within the framework of the European Network for Rural Development. Then within the framework of the existing Rural Development Program 2014-2020, we supported many projects that follow the concept of smart villages, what I'm going to present in the next slides. And some of them we will also see today later on presented from our colleagues. With the approval of the Recovery and Resilience Plan, Next Generation EU, as we call it, we also obtained additional funds to support the digital development of rural areas. In the Slovenian plan, 21% of the total allocated funds are earmarked for measures that support digital transitions. Among them are efforts to digitize public administration, investments in connectivity and digital knowledge and skills, and also digitization of companies and new e-services for the agricultural sector, which will be of direct help to farmers, advisors, and the administration. We can go to the next slide. Broadband, we would say, is the basis of digitization in rural areas. During this program period, we carried out 3 tenders, and those covered 86% of the white spots. Now there are left the white spots which are really on very remote places where the access with cable is very difficult and therefore also very expensive. The current Slovenian legislation only provides public co-financing of the construction of open broadband networks, but does not allow for the promotion of connectivity through connectivity vouchers. In the new Act of Electronic Communication, with which the European Directive, European Code on Electronic Communications, will be transposed into the Slovenia legal system. Voucher schemes for connectivity will very likely also be provided. Satellite internet access for the most remote households in one of the options for ensuring connectivity. In a draft plan for the development of the gigabit infrastructure until 2030 has also been prepared by the Ministry of Digital Transformation, which includes goals and necessary measures to ensure gigabit connectivity for all rural and urban households and 5G network coverage for all populated areas as one of the key intermediate goals that must be met by 2025. The plan envisages providing access to internet connectivity with a speed of at least 100 megabytes per second for all Slovenian households, which can be upgraded to a gigabit speed. By the end of this programming period, we are talking to Ministry for Digital Transformation to publish another call with which we will support the installation of base stations to cover the most remote white spots. Areas or as we say them, white spots which will not be covered with internet will be taken in this programming period till 2025. They will be taken over by the Ministry of Digital Transformation. It is an interdepartmental or interministerial agreement according to which funds for establishing an internet connection will no longer come from the Rural Development Program or CAP strategic plan. In this programming period, and we will also continue to do so in the new one as well, we support digitization horizontally, so to say, within the framework of all planned measures and interventions. through investments in agricultural holdings, then investments in non-agricultural activities on the farm, also the measure cooperation and interventions with APE projects and knowledge and information transfer. We can go to the next slide. Also, the measure leader is one of the measures which is taking care about smart villages and digitization on rural areas. There are 37 local action groups in Slovenia which cover the whole country. During this period, the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food held 6 public tenders for sub-measure 19.3, preparation and implementation of local action group cooperation activities. Within these, the agency for agricultural markets and rural development approved 44 projects, of which as many as 23 are international. As many as 34 out of 37 Slovenia local action groups participated in these projects. Within the framework of the 2014-2020 programming period, 753 projects were approved in the framework of a sub-measure M19.2, support for the implementation of operations within the framework of the community-led local development strategy until December 31st, 2022, in a total amount of 36.5 million euros, which represents 92% of the available funds for sub-measure 19.2. And later today, my colleagues will also present one of these projects financed by LEADER measure, the development of the first smart rural classroom excuse me, in Slovenia, with the pilot development of a modern educational program on tourism and environmental protection and nature conservation, which is an ongoing project. The next slide, please. Here on the list, you can see also the APE projects which addresses also the digitization. The APE Smart Agro Grape will be presented in more detail by the lead partner at this APE project later on. All APE projects are presented to stakeholders, consultants, farmers at the APE conference in Bled each year. To show the progress of each individual APE project and to inform farmers about innovative solutions that they can use at their farms. The next slide, please. The basic purpose of the project is to collect the data from all records, registries and other databases. This is the part of recovery and resilience plan, which is also supporting the whole project of digitization. And this digitization of administration is also necessary, and as I said, the basic purpose of the project is to collect all the data from all records, registries and other databases for the purpose of the beneficiaries, that they can electronically apply for the call. We want also to simplify the processes as much as possible. And through this plan, the Public Agricultural Advisory Service, also the monitoring of farmers will also be digitized at the same time. And this is how the recovery and resilience plan helped us make one step further in this in digitization, and also bring the digitization and, so to say, smart solutions to the farmers directly. The next slide. Activities related to smart villages and the digitization of rural areas will continue as part of the implementation of the new CAP strategic plan. As part of investment interventions, digitization will be supported horizontally, also the same as in this programming period. In all measures, additional support will be devoted to digitization. Interventions of the horizontal objective for the dissemination of knowledge, innovation, and digitization are in Slovenia marked as IRP 30 intergenerational transfer of knowledge, then IRP 31 support of EP projects, IRP 32 exchange of knowledge and transfer of information to farmers and forest owners and training of consultants, and IRP 38 consortium of knowledge institution in support of the transition of agriculture to green, digital, and climate neutral. And these interventions is very new one. With these interventions, we are encouraging all the educational institution to make the partnerships and to modernize their facilities, to be able to present to the farmers on spot all new possible technologies that are available on the market. It is also the fundamental framework, this knowledge transfer, for defining a new strategy, understanding challenges, setting goals, and choosing mechanism for the future development of agriculture and rural areas. We are not only starting from the needs of agriculture, but we want to create a strategic framework that will be based on social, also on social needs. So for the end, I would say that digitization in agriculture and on rural areas and rural development are among the key development priorities for the future programming period. So thank you for your attention. And when there will be any questions, I will be glad to answer them. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you to Andrea. I see that there is a quite long and very detailed question or comment concerning your presentations came from Poland on the heat of Polish National Network. Pavel, good morning to you, Pavel.
Good morning. Maybe
yeah,
I can summarize the question,
yeah.
which is basically to ask, because, and thank you, Andrea, for the presentation. To what extent do you limit smart village interventions to rural development funding, or do you draw on other sources? You already mentioned the recovery fund. What are the proportions? How do you coordinate this work with other ministries? Because smart villages isn't something you can implement just using agricultural funds or just through the Ministry of Agriculture, from my point of view anyway.
Yes, thank you for the comment and the question. I totally agree. We had it was not easy, I will say, also in Slovenia to discuss with other ministries about and make an agreement who is going to support what. And we had quite a difficult discussion about broadband, as I said, but at the end we managed uh, to um, to agree that we made our part in this programming period. In this programming period, we became 3 regions. We had to cover 3 regions with the broadband from the Rural Development Plan. And we did it, as I said, 86% of all white spots we covered. So this was a basic for the negotiation with the Ministry of Digital Transformation, that they saw that there is no use and that would be much expensive if we would struggle to cover the difference to 90 or 100% of white spots. The cost would be for us enormous, but they which are covering the whole Slovenia, for them they will take it into the package. So this is the agreement. We will try, as I said, in this programming period to make another call with these basic stations to help maybe to cover, to increase this 86% maybe to 90 or above 19%, but all the rest the Ministry of Digital Transformation will take over. So we didn't program we didn't program the broadband in the strategic plan. This is one agreement, and it helps us a lot. As I mentioned also, the recovery and resilience plan is also one of the sources that we will use to support digital solution, mainly for the rural areas. One of them is that we are going to digitize and to collect all the data, organize all the data. We will build, so to say, this data storage to be able to collect all the data, also from the other ministries, what we are collecting, so that it will be very easy for each farmer to apply to the call by himself, so that also the advisory service will have enough time to more time to advise the farmers about new technologies, about modernization, about other things than putting the applications into the system. So this is one of them. Yeah, then also in for tourism, for example, you mentioned also there has been also an agreement with other ministries. With the Ministry for Economy, we also agreed that we will take over only the support activities on the farm, and we will not support the small companies and middle companies. So this was also an agreement. This is going to be from the cohesion fund. It was also very difficult, but with the experience, the data analyzing, we have been able to show that the approach to cover these things from the strategic plan is more expensive. So, and then it was a solution and agreement with the ministry that we divided also this part. Yes, this would be my answer. I hope I answered it.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Andrea. Yeah, it was very complex questions and the more complex answer as well from your side. Do the audience have some questions to Andrea? Last chance to ask before we move to the next presenter. So if not, I will ask from my side one question. Andrea, you have presented in your presentations many good examples, project examples, both from leader measure and from EIP measure. But how do you extract the smart village related projects from the other kind of leader projects or EIP projects? For that purpose, you have developed some kind of indicators or evaluation criteria just to separate smart villages related projects from the other kinds of projects, or there are existing some measures, special measures at the leader local action group level.
Thank you for the question. Mainly through selection criteria, then you can see what is the aim and goal of the project. But in this part, maybe I will ask also my colleague Marita Jeric to maybe add something to it. And the other, the second part of the question was about I'm sorry.
Existing some special.
No. But we were thinking when we started to program the CAP strategic plan, there was the initial idea that we will make separate intervention only for smart villages. But then trying to do it, we saw that this is so complex that we have to take all the benefits from all other measures that we have and somehow connect them. And complexness is also because other funds are also supporting this digital solution, and to be able to make those agreements also with other ministries, we decided then we will not make a separate intervention.
Okay, I've got the answer. So thank you very much. And I think we are getting a little bit over time, so it's time to continue with another presentation from Goran, who is representing the Slovenian Rural Development Network, and the topic is leader and the leader approach and the smart villages in Slovenia. So anyway, Andrea, thank you again, and Goran, floor is yours.
Yeah. Thank you, Konstantin. It is so nice to see so many good friends and familiar faces around Europe gathered again. It's even nicer when we meet face to face, but this is also a nice opportunity to share experience and knowledge. I would also ask our colleague from the Ministry, Slavica, to share the presentation. My full-time job is at local action group Prlekija. This is in eastern part of Slovenia. And this is one of the 34 local action groups which are members of Slovenian Rural Development Network, which already exists for more than 20 years. So if we see what will be my presentation about, I will try to comment, actually, not so going so deeply into the two cases, but I will try to make some comments on both approaches. First approach will be description of how we perceived and how we what were the lessons from the project Smart Rural 21, where Slovenia was participating. And the second case will be one of the leader CLLD projects, which Andrea so nicely showed us in the previous presentation. This will be project Smart Villages for Tomorrow. So if we jump to the first case, Smart Rural 21 was the short title of the project, which was actually the origins. Most of you know that came from our colleague Franz Bogovic from the European Parliament. And when European Parliament started this campaign for smart villages, which was in certain measure the answer to the very intensive campaign of smart towns, so kind of rural answer to it. It came to the quite huge debate in DG Agri and in other sectors, and then on the national level about how should we approach the smart villages idea. And this project actually origins from that discussions. At the European level, there was a call, and one expert team or consortium of the experts started the project, which tried to involve the good cases from all over the Europe. And we can see in the next slide what was the logic, intervention logic of this project. So the point is that most of the countries, Slovenia among them, were in the selection process of the good cases, demonstrating how smart our villages are. And we found so many good cases. That's incredible. And what in previous presentation, Andrea showed us, you can see that this smart aspect of the rural areas is really broad one. So it was not an easy task selecting the best cases out of it. And the challenge was especially large at the European level, how to select 15 or 17 best cases, which we can see in the next slide, how was the procedure in Slovenia within that project. So we launched the call, animating all local action groups and municipalities through all possible channels, mass media, and so on. And we received about 20 applications that were not very difficult applications, but they required some investment of time. And then we had criteria to select the best cases at two levels. One was the national level and another was European one. And then one of our case, which is Šentviška Gora Plateau, we say Šentviška Planota, was selected among top 15. The reason why, that's my opinion, the reason why this project was selected out of 733 projects European-wide was that in Šentviška Gora there was a team of young people, farmers, employed, unemployed, different young people who took initiative for development of the 3-4 villages in this plateau in the mountainous alpine region in their hands, and they wanted to do something with that. So they were actively engaging people around them, elder, younger, all kind of people in their villages, and started working, started to look what they could improve in their living area. And from the Smart Rural 21 project, we received actually for this Šentviška Gora plateau as the best case, we received the guidance how to make the smart strategy, let's say so. This strategy was offered as the case, as the possible approach. And of course, with the assistance of the expert, we developed the strategy for Šentviška Gora plateau for the next few years. And the other benefits of the participants from Šentviška Gora were participating in many different activities within the project, which were European-wide and partly limited by COVID situation, but it was quite good project. People learned a lot, people learned many good cases, and also they got the opportunity to visit one of the best cases. They choose the Raudanmaa from Finland, and they exchange visit with this village, which was also part of this Smart Rural 21 project. Next slide, please. Another case was implemented as the transnational cooperation project without transnational dimension. It was actually measure 19.3. This is cooperation project. Actually, 5 Slovenian legs decided to launch the Smart Village for Tomorrow project. These were not legs based in only one area, but in 2 Slovenian areas, both in the eastern part of Slovenia. It is hard to say what was the trigger, what was the criteria for connection. I would say it was knowing each other and having good experience with each other from past 10 or 20 years. And that was the reason why these 5 legs decided to do something together in the sense of smart villages. In the next slide, we can see how we actually designed the project. We actually did put a lot of attention on the common activities that were conferences, press conferences, workshops, meetings, study visits, and promotion, which was mainly done through the common approach. And we actually initiated this project as a whole, but having each leg having one focus. For instance, local action group Prlekija, where I'm working in, was developing this cross-generational exchange in digital tools. We organized workshops for the elder people, where younger people with knowledge, with know-how about how to operate with a smartphone, with a tablet, with a computer. They taught in the village the elder people how to send an email, how to make connection with their relatives. And that was actually a very difficult situation for this type of activities, because COVID took on exactly in the point when we started the workshops. And that meant that we had to somehow organize workshops of teaching how to use digital tools for the people who didn't know how to use them. So that was a special challenge. We overcame it somehow. And we saw later that this is a general challenge for whole Europe, how to engage older people in these tools, which are very useful and can sometimes also save the lives. Another local action group, which was actually the coordinator of the project, was working on the Silver Village. They were advanced in that. So it is not possible to develop a Silver Village within one leader project, of course. So that was one part of the mosaic in their long-term project, Silver Village. And we, together with them, we developed a very precise study about demographic migrations and demographic trends, which was very useful for our measures and for our thinking about the next strategies, because we saw how quickly our rural areas are aging, getting older, and how large is depopulation actually is in our remote areas. Another like Obsotowie Kozjansko, they were working on the challenge how to keep older people longer time at home, not immediately going into the special houses where only older people are living. So that was a very nice approach, very challenging, and I would say this praxis and this know-how should go on around Europe. That should really be something very positive from that our project. And next two projects were dealing with value chain for local products and with mobility. One electric car was purchased through that project and enabled easier accessibility for older people to the healthcare or to the store or to the simple visiting the relatives and so on. The next slide, please. If I summarize these two cases in some lessons, we can say that especially from the first one, that it is quite hard for people if we animate them and say, if we come to one village or to the group of villages, we say, we can assist to you to develop the smart village strategy. And we do it. Then people in certain moment get disappointed because then our assistance is actually coming to the end, and we can't, within that, we cannot assure this investment phase, which is crucial for them. And then they somehow, in certain point, they see, well, we have done so big effort in this strategy. Where is now the money for our development, for our for implementation? And this can cause sometimes some unpleasant reactions from the very pragmatic people who would like to see action without strategy. You know, they say, "Oh, I was right. We shouldn't do this. All of this stuff. You know, this is only moving around the clouds and doing nothing. We could do some practical exercises in between." And they have, in certain measure, they are right. Then we have seen from our experience that smart village approach really needs concrete action, which should be supported in the same package with the strategies from the public sources. And this is maybe the main lesson from that part. We see that also that while thinking about smart village movements and smart village approach, the key asset in that approach are people. If we don't have people who are willing to carry on the activities, who have the initiative, it doesn't make sense. So if we come to a certain village and say, we have €1 million for smart development, would you like to take it? Yes, we would like it, and they would invest it, but that would be dead capital. It could be a dead building, it could be dead something, whatever, smart. But if we don't invest into the people who have the initiative, then this investment will not have the long-term impact. So that is maybe one of the lessons. The next one would be, which Andrea very well covered with the Slovenian approach, that is that the DG Agri and ministries for agriculture around Europe are taking very large responsibility for rural areas, but this is not justified through the true situation outside in the rural areas. Namely, this should not be only responsibility from the agricultural sector. It should be responsibility from sectoral approach from the governments, who should decide which sector, which ministries should take concrete action to make our rural areas smart, to develop smart villages, and to make the investments which are needed on the rural side to keep people living in the countryside. So far from my side, at the last slide, you can see a nice photo from one of our latest events. That was the 20 years anniversary of Slovenia Rural Development Network. And you can see that the Minister of Agriculture was our guest. So that means that we are working the civil society and flags and the initiatives from the bottom up with very in close and with good relationship, with creative relationship, I would say, with our ministry. So far from my side, and you're welcome for the possible question.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Goran. There is that's true. There is a lot of questions in the chat, at least 4 from Finland, Poland, and Estonia. So you can read it, but I can pronounce them as well. First one from Salaruska, from Finnish National Network, or CAP Network. Thank you for interesting presentation. You mentioned that the people are the key asset in this approach. How do you motivate them, and how to involve them into the whole process?
Well, in Slovenia, we have some 30 years of experience of working with people in the rural areas. Similar to several European countries, which started with the leader approach earlier than we did. So this is not possible to achieve in one programming period. So it has to take decades to achieve this animation mood, and you have to develop a certain number of the experts who are skilled to work with people in the rural areas. It is not a simple job. People who are employed in the leader program know that it takes a lot of efforts to animate people, especially in the villages where people don't have the initiative by themselves. So there is no pattern, no models how to do this. Each village is a separate case. Maybe it helps only that we have to find people with how we say, with the shine in the eyes, which will go around and talk to the people and see what are their needs, what are their concerns, and maybe start with very small actions which can grow later on in the broader weather strategies or complex projects. So I would say working with the people in whatever they want would create the result, but not in one day, not in 1 year, not in 5 years. That has to be done systematically through the programs like LEADER. Smart villages is another possibility to develop it. And yeah, I think there is a good perspective in that sense.
Okay, another question from Estonia. Again, thanks, Goran. Really good to hear about this such inspiring cooperation projects. There's so many likes were involved. And the question is, did you involve also some villages which did not have a concrete smart idea yet, but they wanted to be involved somehow and needed kind of kick to start?
Yeah, unfortunately, the financial scheme which we had was very pure. So we were not able to work beyond designing the strategy for the one case which was selected. But we offered to all interested villages or initiatives around who were informed and showed a little bit interest to follow the process and to get to learn from the experience of the others which were assisted professionally, actually. So that was in this Smart Rural 21 experience. It was limited assistance, whereby in the LEADER program, whoever shows the initiative, there are local action groups and lead partners who are there. We are professionals actually all around Europe, more than 3,000 local action groups around Europe, and we really can assist such villages, such areas with professional assistance, and sometimes we even write projects for them based on their initiative and ideas. So I would say there are good possibilities for everyone who has the initiative to get support.
Okay, there is another question from the chat coming from Poland, from Pavel. I think Frank Bogovic, he is the president of the European Smart Village Forum. Do you know anything more about this initiative?
Well, as said, this is a very broad campaign which came from the European Parliament, ended in the some strategy programs, caps, in some countries. In Slovenia, we don't have the separate measure. It is integrated within the LEADER without separate budget. But some countries were maybe more ambitious in that sense. I would say in the LEADER aspect, whereby I would not say that Slovenia is not ambitious. You have seen how big investments we actually separated sectors who have the different challenges in rural areas. And MEP Franz Bogovic is a very active person. He is still working. This group of MEPs in the European Parliament is still discussing, working, lobbying for the idea. And I guess in the next programming period, we will see Smart Village program in more concrete, more, I would say, also in financial terms, more fixed measures, according not only to his initiative, but now this is the public ownership, this initiative, and we are all the owners of it, and we are all Franz Bogovic now.
And the last, sorry, apologies. And the last question from that session coming from Finland, Anna-Sophie Bäckgren asked, I like the thematic of silver villages. Finland has the most aging population in Europe. Can you give a concrete examples of measure from these aspects? And by the way, Finland was crowned last year the happiest country in the world for the 5th consecutive year. So I don't know, most aging population and most happy population. Are these topics somehow connected?
Yeah, and yeah. I will not comment this happiness issue. Maybe we should ask people from Bhutan, where they measure GDP in with happiness, you know. So I hope also Europe someday will do the same. Until then, I would say it's beyond my competencies to advise which silver village is a good case. I advise only to scroll around the internet, look maybe first in your countries. You will be surprised how many civil initiatives which don't have governmental support are self-organizing in this self-assistance and neighborhood assistance. And this is, in my opinion, this is already the beginning of the silver village, even without the huge investments which we sometimes see in our imaginations, that we have to build a village, we have to build a modern house and so on. It is, like I said before, it is silver village starts with the cooperation and assistance, mutual assistance from people to people. And there are so many cases in Europe, and if you will be keen enough, you will very quickly see that in your neighborhood there are quite many of them.
Yeah, thank you, Goran. And very last questions from Romania. Goran, can you answer quite shortly? What were the selection criteria applied to select the villages as smart villages?
Each project is designing their own selection criteria. For instance, if you would go to the level of the leader CLLD program, you would see that nowadays we are designing the strategies, and more or less all the local action groups in Europe will have some aspect of this smart rural in their criteria for deciding about the priority projects. Within Smart Rural 21, there was you can Google the website of the project, and you will probably find the criteria. There were, I don't know, 10 or 20 criteria which had to be fulfilled. So it's an issue, evaluation issue, and you can find, if you would go around through internet, you would find so many approaches in how to select smart projects, or how to select projects with a good with promising people, ideas, and so on. There are very good cases around.
Okay, thank you. Thank you a lot. And thanks to the audience for the nice questions, and for many questions as well, for active participation. Yeah, it's time to move to another speaker, Tamara, from the Lake of Upper Savinia in Shalek, Wally. So, Tamara, the virtual floor is yours. And
thank you. Hi, also from my part. I'm Tamara. As it was told, I work with the Lake of Upper Savinia and Shalek Valley, and today I will represent you the municipality of Ljubno. The municipality of Ljubno is a municipality in the Upper Savinia Valley, which was formed at the confluence of the Ljubnica and Savinia rivers, right at the transition from the narrow alpine to the wider pre-alpine valley. It was founded in 1995 and consists of 9 settlements. The municipality covers around 79 square kilometers and has 2,542 inhabitants. It lies at an altitude of 420 meters. A good 3/4 of the municipality's area is covered by forest. Less than 20% is agricultural land, and only 3% is built up area and other. It is one of the 10 municipalities that make up the Lake of Upper Savinia and Shalik Valley. Ljubno was mentioned for the first time in history in the 13th century, and it gained the status of a market in the 15th century. In the past, the population mostly made a living from agriculture, which is still one of the most important industries in the area. The other important industry was the timber industry, which reached its peak in the years before World War II, when huge quantities of wood from local forests traveled to sawmills, where it was processed, tied into rafts, and sailed all the way to Belgrade and Romania. After World War II, timber rafting slowed down due to cheaper, faster, and safer ways to transport wood. Timber rafting today represents an important ethnographic heritage, which local residents revive every year at the traditional timber rafting ball. Another ethnographic heritage is the custom of making Palm Sunday bundles, locally called the Ljubno bundles of wood, which present the tools, objects, and the scenery from everyday farm life, sacred objects, religious symbols, animals, and other. They had been declared as a living masterpiece of national importance, which has made it an important part of Slovenian cultural heritage. After 1995, when Ljubno was declared as an independent local community, rapid development of the municipality took place, which continues also today with many projects. Over the years, the squares and the buildings in the very center of the municipality had been restored, and they are also protected as cultural heritage. The building of the old cooperative was renovated in the past 2 years, and today it is the center of cultural and congress activity. In the past, the industrial business zone of Loka was also established, and today it's the place or the home for important regional, national, and global companies. In the field of sports, ski jumping has a long-standing tradition in Ljubno. One of the most important achievements in this field is the construction of the National Ski Jumping Center, where the FIS Ski Jumping World Cup for women can be watched every year. Of course, in addition to the above, the municipality of Ljubno has many other natural and cultural attractions that it can offer to visitors throughout the year. It can also boast with a wide range of social activities, which includes everyone from the elderly to the younger generation who come together during traditional events. In the year of 2022, the European Association for Rural Development and Village Renewal announced the 17th European competition for the European Award for Village Renewal on the theme Building Bridges. At the national level, it was the municipality of Ljubno that performed best, for which the 3-membered international commission said that Ljubno is a traditional municipality, but at the same time modern, oriented towards the future and connected within the municipality, in the region and with the world. They believe that the quality of life is at a very high level, but the municipality has its soul and character. At the European level, it was ranked among the recipients for the second highest award, the Gold Plaquette, as the Commission assessed that the development of the municipality is integral, sustainable, and of excellent quality. And now to our team, the Smart Solutions on the Countryside. In recent years, there has been more and more talk about adapting to climate change, to energy efficiency, to digitalization, and also about smart villages or smart countryside. This term is used for rural communities that use innovative solutions and digital technologies to improve economic, social, or environmental challenges, but they don't use only technologies. Because first and foremost, smart rural areas are formed by people who take the initiative and activate local potentials to solve rural challenges. This is exactly what happened in the Ljubno municipality in the last 2 years. That's why an interactive collection of timber rafting and the first smart rural classroom were created. And now some words about the timber rafting collection. In the past, the original timber rafting collection was on display in a smaller space where visitors could not fully experience the tradition of timber rafting. So the idea of renovating the museum with the addition of digitalization was born. The opportunity was offered through a cooperation project between Slovenia and Lex. And the next step was then the community involvement, for which the tradition of timber rafting means a lot, and also the search for ideas on how to raise the content to a new level and bring it closer to both the old and the young. The renovation of the collection involved a huge amount of work and cooperation, everything from the transfer of knowledge from the descendants of rafters to designers of the collection, the digitalization of the entire collection, the training of young people to work in the collection, and also to physical work such as collecting stones from the Savinja River. During the renovation of the collection, they used special cameras to record the actual descent of the raft down the Savinja River, which visitors can now experience via a 3D simulated ride of the raft down the Savinja River in a special room in the museum. The purpose of the interactive collection is to tell the story of how the brave ancestors rafted wood from the upper Savinja Valley all the way to the Black Sea, which the locals are particularly proud of. The collection takes the visitor on a walk along the Savinja River, which presents the life of the rafters and their families on and by the river, about the flora and fauna on the banks of the river, about the development of local culture, about the adrenaline rush on the descent down the lively rapids. The visitor learns about the dangers that rafters faced on the way, about earnings, different types of rafts, about tools and accessories, and also about the cuisine of that time. The collection is designed in such a way that the visitor explores the subject on his own and moves freely around the space. The guide only tells a few basic clues. But it is also possible to visit the interactive collection with the addition of a presentation from the descendant of the rafters from Ljubno. And our second case is the smart classroom. The idea for a smart classroom in Ljubno Elementary School has been brewing for a very long time. And this led to the cooperation of the public, private, and economic sector, which made the first smart rural classroom in Slovenia through LEC funds. The project group wanted to offer young people a new way of receiving learning content, while at the same time arousing interest and innovation in them and teaching them about the environment they come from. During the project alone, over 800 young people got to know the smart classroom, which acquired new professional competences in the field of using modern technology, tourism, and nature conservation. In addition, 36 selected teachers from all primary schools in the entire LEC were trained to use the classroom and the program. So a smart classroom is therefore like a symbiosis between technologically the sophisticated space and learning material, which contributes freshness and a different learning methodology, because the student in the classroom is no longer a listener and a follower of the audiovisual components, but actively co-shapes the course of the lesson. The classroom consists of digital screens, listening aids, and other audiovisual components, projectors that make learning more engaging and interactive. It is conceived as an open active space in which there are 5 so-called islands, which in addition to the smart intelligent system, enable moving, collaborative learning based on problem solving. The learning material is divided into 2 parts, and enables both specific learning of the subject matter and combining other learning contents. The learning content offered by the Smart Classroom includes material from elementary school, high school for tourism, and environmental protection program from the university. On the Colorful Islands, knowledge is focused on the importance of environmental preservation, protection, and self-care, technology, and green mobility. The learning material is interlaced with digital models and various robotic components. So the student receives the learning material while at the same time is being educated in the field of controlling a robotic arm, manufacturing sensors, and programming robots. The acquired knowledge is transferred to the second part of the education, where they are greeted by our artificial intelligence, Alexandra, who prepares and educates the students to become tourism ambassadors through classification, storytelling, questions, and video content. And to conclude, based on what has been presented, we can say that the municipality of Ljubno is a smart village, as it represents a community of people who have taken the initiative and activated local potential to solve challenges in the countryside. The first smart rural classroom and the interactive collection were created precisely because of the need and later the initiative of the local community. So we recognized our potential and activated it, raising it one step higher, while at the same time not forgetting our past, the legacy of our ancestors.
Thank you, Tamara. Yeah, it was very intensive presentations with a lot of practical project examples and solutions. I will ask the questions. The first smart rural classroom.
Yes.
It has been worked out only for the rural school children, or it's open for all?
It's open for all. Our lag also has a big city, the municipality of Velenje, and all children are invited. It's not just for rural, it's the knowledge of the second part is based on our area, but the first step, the first content that they come with in the smart classroom is the content that every school in Slovenia or in the world is teaching or learning. So for everyone.
Mm-hmm. And another question, how these ideas raised up? You have been organized some kind of a brainstorming session? I don't know, hackathon or local discussion?
For the interactive collection, the municipality had a problem because the former collection was in a really small space. They had a lot of accessories, a lot of stuff to represent, but they didn't have the room for it. So this old cooperative building that I mentioned was being bought by the municipality, and there they had the space to renew this collection, and they wanted to upgrade it and do some new stuff. So the idea was just rising, and they also met the right people who wanted to give themselves a challenge and create something new. And also in the smart classroom, our principal is a very how to say it, he likes challenges, and his challenge is to become the first smart school in Slovenia. So he proposed that, and also the right group of people came together, and the vision then come to us to provide funds. So.
By the way, it sounds very funny. Smart school. That means right now all the schools are not smart.
Yeah, they have a problem because the students don't want to get out.
Smart school, smart university, smart people. Yeah. Okay, we have another question in chat coming from my colleague Mary. Do you also cooperate with neighboring regions or villages?
Yeah, we do. The museum was just the municipality because it's a team just in this municipality, because rafting was here so present, and also the people today are very attached to this past. But this was the cooperation project between different legs from Slovenia. So each leg had one natural or cultural thing to they want to digitalize it and bring it to a new level. The school also worked with every school in our leg area, and now is also representing it to all the principals from the whole Slovenia. So they are trying to network and to share the classroom with as many children as possible.
So thanks a lot, Maria. Yeah, for your presentation, for your time.
Thank you.
And we are moving to our today's last presentation, and speaker Jure from University of Ljubljana, and presenting KIP project Smart Agro Grade. So Jure, the floor is yours.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you see my presentation?
Yeah, it works there very well.
Okay, that's great. So hello from my side. As told, I am Jure Vrhovnik, and today I will present the project Smart Agrograde. I am coming from University of Ljubljana, Faculty of Electrical Engineering, and this program was founded by a Rural Development Program of the Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry and Food here in Slovenia. So because I think we are having 8 minutes, I have to be very fast. So just short description about the faculty. We are one of the oldest faculties in Slovenia, about 3,000 students, 4,000 employees. But what I like to point out is that we are having a lot of cooperation with domestic and foreign companies, more than 100 joint projects, and this is what we like to do also in future. And one of the projects, what I'm talking about today, is Smart Agrograde. And the point was that we have identified the problems that the very low technological, economical efficiency of young wine growers, and this high burden of agriculture to the environment, and also that there is low competences of the holders of agriculture holdings and on farms. So our goal was, through this pilot project, to implement some of the digital solutions into the vineyards, so that the wine growers will be more efficient, not just how to make money, but also in the field of this agriculture impact of the environment. So what is our goal? Because we are in the middle of the project, so we have another year to finish it. We like to lower the production costs for up to 30%. These are all young wine growers. That means that they are under the 35 year of their age, and so they are like in full motion to do something. And so through the project, we like to optimize the water resources, fertilizers, plant protection, and also labor costs. And we like to bring the usage of big data, and on the ground of the big data, the prediction models to the vineyards in the first phase, and then also to transfer this to other parts of the agriculture. And of course, to transfer innovation approaches, best practices to and from the young wine growers. So here you can see the members of the project. The project consists of 7 wine growers, and you will see after that 5 are located. Okay, I can show it now. The 5 are located in the west part of Slovenia, Primorska region. This is near the sea coast, and two are located in Steyerska region. This is northeast part of Slovenia, but both regions are very known, on the vineyards and the vines producing in these areas. And what was the main goal? The main goal was to build a system that collects big data, and is able, with the machine learning and artificial intelligence, to predict if there is danger, that some disease will spread out. We are having 5 diseases when we are talking about the vineyards, wine grapes. So you will see here that what we have done until now, we have installed on all these 7 locations, we have installed sensors, and these sensors are able to measure 9 parameters: air temperature, air humidity, solar radiation, soil temperature, soil water content, rainfall, soil oxygen content, wind speed, wind direction, and air pressure. And as you can see from both pictures, these systems are energy neutral. So they are not running on the electricity provided through the cables, but they are having their own solar panels, and everything they need to work, it's coming from the sun. Okay, I will pass this slide. This is just like you can see what is the procedure of gaining that data and then analyzing it. So what we have done? First, we have now data display, and every of these wine growers can look about these critical situations on the screen. So you can see here it's temperature, it's the wind and the soil humidity, witnesses, and so on. And this was the first part. So to collect data, to analyze data, to get information in which circumstances some of these 5 major diseases of the vineyards can be spread out, so that they will start to damage the vineyards, and so that we can inform or alert these wine growers before that they should take some measurements, to stop the illness or disease, or to lower the damage of the disease. And this is not just on the computer. We also have developed an app, so all the wine growers are having these informations or notifications all the time, because we are all wearing our smartphones with us all over the time. So you can see here the layout, which is not the layout, it's already app, built app, and what informations can be seen on this app. So the wine growers, they are having possibility to look just the location, the sensors or the data for their locations, or they can also see all other locations and the average of these locations. And I'm talking about these 9 parameters that we are able to collect with this sensor station. So what is the result of the project? What will be the result is it's an app, it's digital platform, it's prognostic model, and that is the main point of the project, so that we can predict if there is a danger for, I don't know, Peronosporus or some other illness for the vineyards. Of course, we have a lot of training programs, so we like to make on one side learning building, and another side also to get some content, some knowledge, competencies to the people who are running farms, vineyards, and other things on agriculture. And of course, we are having a lot of knowledge transfer grants. I must say that we are quite proud, because this project was running in Slovenia, just in Slovenia. We are starting now with a bigger project. There are 33 partners, and we will upgrade what we have done or what we will have done in the project Smart Agrograde, in the project Codex, and this will be spread over the whole Europe. And you can see it's a program from Horizon Europe, and it will last for 48 months. That's quite a long project, and it's also quite a big budget, around 7.5 million euros. And you can see that I will not read what is the ambition, what are the goals of the project Codex. It's more or less brighter introduction of digital solutions and tools to the people who are running or working in the agriculture. So that was like a speed presentation, because I think that we are having the event is until 1 minute ago. I'm correct, or it's to 11:30. It's
no. We can get a little bit over. It's not a problem at all.
I was doing so fast because I rather answer the questions than just do presentation. So
yeah, you have already at least one at the chat. Congratulations on the operational group, and especially on the Horizon projects. Jure, what is the effect of this operational group on the community? Well, the project partners okay. Do you see your question? Yeah, contribution to Smart Village.
Hello.
Freezed.
Excuse me, can you hear me? Because
right now we can hear you, but it was on small pause for 15 seconds.
Be so kind and to repeat the question, because I didn't got it.
Yeah, the question was, what is the effect of this operational group on the community, and where the project partners are located? And how you see this smart solution contributing to Smart Village?
We are talking now about the Smart Agrograde.
I think. Exactly, about the first wine project.
Okay. So of course, the regions where this project, this pilot taking place, it's rural, because the vineyards are not in the city. So and a lot of this solution, it's not just for the vineyards, but can be also used in other cases. When we are talking about information connected to these 9 parameters. That means not just vineyard. That means also other agriculture points. That means also we're talking about the information about the weather in such different areas, and it can provide also informations or optimizations, how to use water and when to use it, and what fertilizer to use, and it's quite a big impact.
Yeah, another question coming from the chat. Thanks a lot for your answer. How we will demarcate the public from the commercial side of the projects, and can every wine grower see the data in his neighborhood, even if he's not a part of the project?
Let me start with the second question. Yes,
yeah.
The data are open, and we are searching not just for new partners, but there are already some sensor stations in Slovenia, and we are contacting the owners or who is managing it, and we like to collect data. We are offering our data, and we like to have this data from them, because if you want to be successful with this prediction model, you have to have a lot of data, and these 7 stations are just for the pilot. It's not possible to run the business on 7 stations. On the other side, we are as a university, we are not interested, and we are not allowed it's not okay that we would make business of it. And all our knowledge or all our conclusions in this project will be open to all use.
That's good to hear. Small provocative question from my side, probably the last one for today. Why you have been focused only on young winemakers or wine growers? You show it on your first slides.
Why?
Yeah.
Because the different agricultural cultures. I mean, wine yards and some potatoes. There are different circumstances that some type of the illness can be spread out. And the problem is that this project is not so big, and we have limited finance. So we were able just to buy seven stations, and so we concentrated to vineyards because they are having the same problems of the same illnesses. So because of that, we were starting with the vineyards. Because this other project I was mentioned in the end of my presentation, it's wider. It's not just vineyards. It's from the beekeepers, vineyards, and other parts of the agriculture.
Okay. We here in Estonia, we have quite similar innovation clusters who is dealing with that issues. Yeah. Okay, but thank you again. And I think, sorry about that first, that we a little bit running out of time, 6 minutes, but this is an indicator that the presentations were quite interesting and plenty of questions. It's a quite good result behind that. What I can say before we finished our today's event, thanks a lot to all. First of all, to speakers, to the colleagues from Slovenia. Thanks for your effort, time, and for nice cooperation. Hopefully, we will continue on some other topic, for example. Why not? Secondly, many thanks to organizers, to our team, Mary and Derek. Everything suits well, from my opinion. Yeah, it can be more. By the way, over the 30 followers were merged at the YouTube channel. So all the presentations and YouTube link will be uploaded in the coming days on the events webpage. We will definitely circulate it among registered participants, so you can easily share. And many thanks to participants and for your active participation rate. So thank you all. And from my side, I wish you all enjoyable rest of the week. Happy forthcoming Easters next week. And hope to see you all again in the forthcoming events organized by us or our Slovenian colleagues. So thanks a lot and see you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.